I actually learned about Trinity Christian Community through an agency. I came down here looking for a job from Chicago, and somebody told me about this ministry that they thought I would fit perfectly into, and it was a friend of Kevin's and sent me over for an interview. I interviewed for 3 hours here, and everything was history after that. Like I said, I came here to be Kevin's executive assistant and to help him get on track after Katrina and help him with his scheduling and making sure he got to different speaking engagements. But after about 6 years, that's grown into, I was the youth pastor for a little while. I kind of help the facilities out around here, make sure the facility runs well. I've also done some of the work with the database and keeping up with our donors and everything. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades around here. The basic vision of the ministry, what we really thrive on is leadership development, capacity building, and community transformation. And if you take those three things, that really encompasses what we want to do and what we want to be as a ministry. We want to develop strong young leaders so they can one day run this community. We want to transform this community into a Christian community, basically. And then we want to help build capacity in every different area of this community, not just in the church, not just in our community center, but we want to build capacity in things like the Holly Grove Market and Farm, and we want to build capacity in different churches, and we want to build capacity in the park. And so all those three things encompass what we want to do here at Trinity Christian Community. You know, Comrade was a park that was thriving maybe 20 years ago. Lots of sports teams, lots of people using the park, different activities, and people looked to the park as a comfort. And it slowly dilapidated, and then after Katrina, there was nothing happening. And so, as a matter of fact, it was being used for all the wrong reasons. And so that's what people had become, they just used that synonymous, the park was bad. And so one thing we did, we got involved with the park. We took over the Booster Club. We got a basketball team rolling out of there. They hadn't had a team for over 10 years there. And so that was a sense of excitement. Didn't win one game, but people were proud that they had a basketball team again. Then we rebuilt the playground up there. We ripped out the old playground and got the recreation department involved and got some other the community members involved, and we put a brand new playground up there. And now we're looking to place a supervisor. Actually, I'm taking a park supervisor to fill out an application tomorrow down at the recreation department. And so hopefully we'll place that park supervisor, and then we'll see programs coming out of that park. And that's all a part of the capacity building that TCC has done through that park. And it's not where we want it yet, but it's a long ways from where it was. And so one of the things we do in sharing the gospel, and if I can stay on this park vein, we started a thing called Friday Family Fun Days in the park. And so what that consisted of, we would do a small barbecue, bring out games for kids, either water balloons, like small carnival games for kids, and we'd cook, we'd have fun, and then we'd share the gospel. Once you get them hooked in with eating hot dogs and hamburgers and having fun, and then we just shut it down for about 20 minutes and say, hey, just want you to listen to one thing. And so we've been able to take those family fun days in the park and use that for sharing the gospel with people, and it's been phenomenal. Discipleship is so important. I mean, we can share the gospel all day long, and if we don't disciple people, I think we really waste our time in sharing the gospel. And one of the ways we disciple is through mentorship with the Share Project and through our after-school program, actually. I think is vital because, again, one of our things is leadership development. And, you know, we like to pride ourselves in having Christian leaders. And so we take that Share Project, and even though we're building chairs with boys, we are always giving them life skills and teaching them Bible stories. And the same thing in our after-school program, we start with a devotion. Before the kids flip open their computers, we start with a devotion. And so we just feel like that's our duty as a Christian ministry. That's our way to do discipleship, because some of these young people we won't see on Sundays or we won't see in Bible study. So while we have them within our midst in the ministry, we disciple them while we have them here. Well, I definitely believe one of the key things that we need always in a neighborhood like Holly Grove, we always need prayer. And so we always like to start asking people to pray for us in the work that we do here in Holly Grove and in New Orleans. But the other way is you can log on to our website at tccno.org and see how you want to be involved. We have short-term missions. We're always looking for interns to come and help us out in the summer. We do a great summer program, and so that's a way to get involved. And then there's always, it's always nice to have people involved, but it's also nice that people would donate to us as well so we can continue some of these projects that we're doing, like building chairs and after-school programs that will give kids tablets at the end of the term and different things like that. So money is always a great way as well. I think the Lord has called me to do this. With more time, I could tell you my story of how I ended up here from Chicago. The Lord told me He was going to show me a land flowing with milk and honey. And I drove my family from Chicago to New Orleans in 2 cargo vans. And I got here and it was trash in the streets and cars still parked on the neutral ground, abandoned cars. The place was in disarray. But the Lord told me this was my land flowing with milk and honey. And 6 years later, it's still my land flowing with milk and honey. And so I believe that the Lord called me here. He called me to do this work in this ministry. And until He tells me something different, I'm going to stay here. I will say that I know it may seem strange to some people that this group of people would live in a neighborhood like Holly Grove in New Orleans, a place that's considered to be very dangerous. But I truly believe that the Lord has touched each and every one of our lives who are involved with this ministry and these community members to be involved together. I don't believe that the church is the answer to all the problems by itself. I think we have to reach out to people, and I think people reaching back into the church to work together. I think that's the key. Everybody's not going to be a part of our ministry. Everybody's not going to be a part of our church. But I think we all can work together to see some things done in this community, and we have. And we've closed bars. We've saved some children's lives. And so I just think us working together, if our world could really realize, I don't care if you Republican, Democrat, this Mormon, Catholic, I think we have to come together at some point and make things work. And so that's it.